Welcome to the second lecture of current electricity. Here we discuss about the current. Current, that is electrons as they flow from one point to the other point, right? Current, they are generally flow in the wires which we see at our home. So there are current carrying elements, there are current controlling elements, that how much current we want to flow. Let us say this regulator, so it controls the current, how much current should be flown into the fan. So whenever we select a material in which the current will flow, so those material are selected based on some properties. Let us see. When a material is selected to carry the current from one point to the other point, how do we select the material? That material has some nature, right? Gold has some different nature, silver has some different nature, copper has some different nature, iron has some different nature. So before selecting, what should we select in order to carry from one point to the other point? Should we select a iron, but its resistance is high? If we select a gold, its resistance is less, but its cost is more. So some properties which we have to take into account before selecting a particular material to carry the current from one place to the other place. Those properties are resistivity, conductivity. On basis of resistivity, we calculate resistance of material. On basis of conductivity, we calculate conductance of material. Then we also look for its mobility. Then we also look for its drift velocity. Right? Let's say gold. So gold will have some resistivity, some conductivity. Right? Silver, again it has some different resistivity, different conductivity. So before those materials are brought, these are the properties that are specified with those materials. So let us see what are the meaning, what does these properties mean actually when the electrons flow from one point to the other. Come to the second lecture of current electricity. Today we are going to see some derivations related to the current electricity. So the first topic and the derivation which we are going to see is drift velocity. What is drift velocity? Let us understand what is drift velocity. Right? So if you consider a metal surface, right, let us say this is a magnified metal surface. If you see the magnified metal surface, what you will see? Definitely surface, it is made up of atoms. So let us say these circles represents the atoms. Now for metal, the electrons which are in the outermost shell, they are loosely bound. Even the small excitation will remove large number of electrons from the valence shell and make them free within the surface of the metal. Right? Small excitation will make valence electrons, large number of valence electrons free from their nucleus boundings, and they will now move freely within the surface of the metal. These electrons, they undergo free movement. They will keep moving randomly because of the thermal excitation. Right? Electrons, they keep moving. Let us say this electron moves in this direction, this electron moves in this direction, the electron moves in this direction. So they just have a random movement. Ultimately there is no current. So we can write down that due to thermal agitation, electrons have thermal velocity. Right? And average thermal velocity is 0. Why? Because electrons, they don't have one specific direction, right? Some are moving left, right, so they have randomly oriented. So if we write down mathematical format of this statement, so thermal velocity, let us say u1 is the thermal velocity of first electron, right? u2 is the thermal velocity of the second electron, u3 is the thermal velocity of the third electron. Then the average of all these velocities will be 0. Average thermal velocity is 0. Now let us take, if you apply some electric field. If electric field is applied, what happens? Due to application of the electric field, right, let us say this side positive and this one is negative. So electric field is in this direction. Now as soon as you apply the electric field, these electrons will start experiencing a force. In which direction they will experience a force? If electric field is applied, electrons experience force right? We know the basic formula that the force is given by Q into electric field, right? So these electrons will also experience a force. How much force they will experience? Let me find out. The force experienced by the electrons is minus E into E, right? Negative sign because electric field is left to right, but electrons will experience the force towards right direction. So this is the force experienced by the electrons. If we solve this, mass of the electron denoted by the m, let A be the acceleration, right? Minus EE. So the acceleration of the electron is EE by m. This is the acceleration experienced by the electron. Now, as the electrons are experiencing acceleration, what will happen? This acceleration is acting towards left direction. So all the electrons now, instead of moving randomly, all electrons have acceleration only in one specific direction, that is towards left. So now electrons will start move towards the left direction. So we can write down in words that under the effect of this acceleration, electrons start moving towards left. As per our diagram, they are moving towards left side, right? So as acceleration is there, they will also have a velocity. So towards left with velocity, let us write down what will be the velocity. So that velocity called as drift velocity. So the velocity with which electrons will move is called as drift velocity. Now exactly what do you mean by drift? See here, now when the electron starts moving, electrons are blind. As they move, they will collide with the stationary atoms, and as they collide with the stationary atoms, all of their velocity is lost. Electric field is still there. Again, after the collision, they will start moving, right? So let us see, this electron as it moves, it collides, right? Again it will start movement, again it will start moving. So it will undergo consecutive collisions and consecutive accelerations. So such type of the motion in which electron gains velocity, velocity becomes zero. Again the velocity increases, velocity becomes zero. So such type of the motion of the electron, it is called as a drift motion. And the electron and the velocity gained during this drift motion, it is called as a drift velocity. You might have seen cars, drifting cars, right? As the cars drift, what happens? Their velocity becomes slow and suddenly they gain the acceleration, again speed up. Their velocity again becomes slow, they suddenly gain the acceleration and velocity. So the electrons will have a drift velocity here. Let us write down the equation for the drift velocity. So we can add the sentence here. Under the effect of this acceleration, electron starts moving towards left with the velocity called as drift velocity. Electrons possess drift motion. What is this drift motion? You can elaborate. As electron accelerate, they collide with stationary atoms and also with surrounding electrons. Hence, their motion is drift motion. Right? So let us write down now velocity which they gain. For the first electron, the velocity will be, right? Since it is an accelerated motion, it will be u plus acceleration is alpha, right? This acceleration we denote generally with the alpha. So alpha into t1. What is t1? Then we will write down that t is relaxation time. What is relaxation time? Tau is relaxation time. Relaxation time, how do you define relaxation time? Relaxation time is time between two consecutive collision, right? So as electron gets accelerated, and by the time they collide, so the time between their two collision, it is called as a relaxation time, denoted by the tau. So every electron will have their relaxation time. For this electron, the path is completely clear for a longer time, right? So it has a more relaxation time, more time. Here the electron has a glitchy path, so it will have a less electron, less relaxation time. So for first electron, the velocity is v1. Second electron, the velocity is u2 plus alpha tau 2. For third electron, the velocity is u3 plus acceleration in the tau 3, right? Sorry, time is not, it will come here over alpha, right? Now the drift velocity denoted by the dD, you can write down symbol is dD. So drift velocity denoted by dD is average of all these velocities, dot 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 divided by n. If I simplify this thing further, it can be written as, if I write equations elaborately, then you can write down Vd will be, right, what will be the value of V1? V1 is U1, right? All the U1, U2, U3 are added down together. These are also velocities. So vector sign of 2 Un divided by n plus acceleration into time. All of them have same acceleration divided by n. So this is drift velocity. Now we know that this term is 0. Already it is proved here. So only left side of this term remains. So it can be written as Vd is equals to alpha into tau, right? Where tau is average relaxation time and T1, T2, T3 is relaxation time for the first electron, second electron, third electron. Here if we substitute the value of acceleration, it is E, right, by n. Acceleration we have calculated here. So tau. This is the drift velocity of the electrons. If you find out drift speed, it will be EET by n. So this is the speed with which electrons move in a conductor. As soon as you apply potential difference, this is the velocity with which electrons will start moving. Then based on the same equations, we have many other derivations. The second one is the relation of the drift velocity with current. So we can write down relation of drift velocity with current, right? So drift velocity, we know that the formula for the current, it is defined as a charge upon time, right? Time here we can say is a relaxation time tau. So in order to obtain the relationship between drift velocity and the current, what do? We consider one conductor. We consider one conductor. This conductor has a length L, it has area of cross section A, right? N is electron density. Electron density means electrons per unit volume. Electron per unit volume. That is the electron density, right? What will be the total amount of the charge? We want charge here. The total charge will be density into volume, right? That will be the total charge. And the charge on one electron is E. So this is the total charge. And time we already know. So let us substitute. So current I will be equal to NE volume and the time. How much time? If each electron has a drift velocity Vd, how much time it will take to cross this conductor? So time taken to cross this conductor will be speed into, it will be distance upon speed, right? So we can substitute these two values 1 and 2 in this equation. So current I is equals to Q by T, tau. The value of Q is NEAL and the tau is L upon VE. So NL gets cancelled, current I is equals to NEAVV. This is the relationship between the current and the drift velocity. Current is a scalar quantity, so no need to mention any vector symbols. So simple relationship between the drift velocity and the current. We also have one more relation, mobility. We define one more term, mobility. How do you define mobility? Mobility, it is defined as defined as drift velocity or electric field. This is the term we define. Why do we define mobility? Mobility is defined as mu, right? Why do we define mobility? Mobility is defined in order to know how easily electrons can move within the conductor. So for that we define the mobility. If we calculate mobility, right, it is drift velocity upon electric field, right? So if we substitute drift velocity is this formula for the drift velocity, EET by m, so it will be E tau charge into tau by m. This is the mobility. There are two types of the charge carriers. So we have mobility for electrons and mobility for the holes. What are holes here? As electrons become free from the conductor, there is some empty space created, right? The electron, as they leave their position, their own original positions are remains vacant, and those vacant positions are called as holes. As electron move towards left hand side, these holes also they move towards the right hand side. That concept, movement of the holes, will be discussed in the last section of semiconductors, last section of the class 12. So mobility of the electrons is E tau by m, right? And similarly mobility of the holes also have a charge E, but electrons have negative charge, holes have positive charge. So E T by m, that is the mobility of the holes. Timings are different, right? We don't have to put the minus sign. Mobility of the electrons and mobility of the holes. Then next, after the mobility, the next topic which we have is Ohm's law. We need a greater space. Ohm's law. So the similar type of the derivation. Next we have a Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? Ohm he gave a law as per which under constant physical condition, potential is directly proportional to current. That is what the Ohm's law is. Ohm's law, he tried to give a mathematical relationship between potential and the current, right? And in giving a mathematical relationship between potential and the current, he invented the term resistance. So as per this statement, right, under the constant physical conditions means temperature, pressure, humidity, all such things remain same. Then the potential is directly proportional to the current. Removing proportionality sign, we get a constant here which is called as a resistance R. R is resistance of a material. If we draw a graph in order to denote the Ohm's law, the graph will be like this, V and I. Directly proportional, so graph is a straight line. So R is a resistance of a material. What is the SI unit of the resistance? So SI unit of resistance is Ohm. Symbolically it is written this way, Ohm. It can be also written as a volt per ampere, or in short it is written as a Ohm. Then we have Ohm's law. The same relation we obtain in the form of these basic equations, right? So let us say we have this equation for the drift velocity. Drift velocity, that is, we know that current I is equals to NEA VD, right? If we substitute these values, then NEA drift velocity is E tau by m. You must remember the formula. That formulas, all these formulas which are boxed up are highly important, right? Now we can also substitute that electric field. Electric field, it can be defined as V by R. So if L is the length of the conductor, N E square A instead of E I will write down V by L, tau by L. Now here if I rearrange, so V is equals to V as it is, I will be shifting all these things on the other side, it will be ml by ne square tau. So resistance R is equals to ml upon ne square tau. This is the equation for the resistance of the conductor. AB forward. So V is equals to ml upon ANE square tau. So this is A. ml upon ANE square tau. That is the Ohm's law in its fundamental form. Then after the Ohm's law we have resistance. Detailing to this term resistance. What is resistance? Resistance we define as it is the opposition to flow of electrons. Opposition shown to the flow of electrons, right? Let us say if I draw a conductor here, right? These are the stationary atoms, and if I show the electrons, right? If this electron starts moving, they will collide with the stationary atoms as well as with the other electrons. These collisions results in the loss of energy, and these collisions are called as resistance. So we can write down in words opposition to the flow of electrons. We can write down as electrons drift, they collide with stationary atoms and neighboring electrons. This collision is called resistance, right? So its SI unit we have seen. Now we will see the formula of the resistance in terms of these basic quantities, right? That is already here. So resistance is SI unit is ohm. You can find out its dimensional formula. Then the next topic which we have is resistivity. Resistivity, it is a property of a material, right? Let's say if I take a gold, we'll have some specific resistance, right? Gold, the arrangement of atom is different. If you take silver, again the arrangement of atom is different. If you take wood, again the arrangement of atom is different, right? So depending upon the arrangement of the atoms and availability of the electrons, every material will have a different resistance, and that property of different arrangement of atoms, different arrangement of electrons, that property is called as a resistivity. So we can write down resistivity, it is a property of material to oppose or to have resistance, right? Every material, let's say if a small piece of wood, it will have same resistivity as the bigger block of the wood, because in wood arrangement of the atoms is almost same. Similarly, let's say if you take a piece of gold, if you take a small piece of gold, if you take a big block of gold, in both the conditions the resistivities are same. So if we write down, if we obtain its formula, right, it is obtained that resistivity or experimentally resistance R, it is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. As I said that if you take a small length of the gold piece or larger length of the gold piece, their both nature are same, they both appear same, their electrical properties are same, so their resistivity of the small piece and the large piece are also same. So resistance of the smaller piece will be small, resistance of the larger piece will be large. That simple it is, because if the length is more number of collisions will take place. If the length is less number of collisions will take place. Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. If the area of cross section is large, resistance will be less. You can understand both the points just from the door. Let us say you have a door in the room. If the door is narrow, that means area is less. What will happen? Public will become crowded to get out of that place, and that is nothing but resistance is more. But if the gate is wider, door is wider, what happens? People can move out of the gate very easily, and ultimately we say resistance is less. So regarding resistance, these 2 points were observed experimentally. That if you take larger length of the conductor, resistance increases. Why? Because in the larger length of the conductor, there are large number of atoms, large number of electrons. Ultimately, there are larger collisions. So, larger resistance, and resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Combining these two factors, we have a formula rho L by A. Rho is, when rho is constant of proportionality, and this constant of proportionality is called as resistivity. Constant proportionality called as resistivity, or it is also called as specific resistance. Specific resistance means resistance per unit length, right? By default, it is nature of material. It is a nature of material. It's a nature of gold, that it will allow electric current to flow easily. It is again a nature of silver, it will allow electric current to flow easily. But it is a nature of wood, that it will not allow the electric current to flow. So resistivity of a wood is very high. It does not allow current to flow. Resistivity of a gold is very low. It allows electric current to flow through it. Let us see the equation of the resistivity in terms of these basic physical quantities. So from the equation of the resistance, right? Resistance equation in the terms of the basic physical quantities, we have mL by A N E square tau, right? If we rearrange just in form of this, so R is equals to M upon N E square tau, L by A, right? On comparing with R is equals to rho L by A, the value of rho obtained is M upon N E square tau. So this is the resistivity in terms of the basic physical quantities. You must be knowing M is mass of the electron, N is density of the electron, E is charge on one electron, and T is average relaxation time. Then if we know resistivity, we can also define the opposite term, conductivity. Conductivity, right? So conductivity is exactly the reciprocal of resistivity. Resistivity. In words, it can be defined as ease with which current is allowed. Here, it is exactly opposite. Current is not allowed, and conductivity, the ease with which current is allowed. Talk about the gold, right? For gold, we say its conductivity is high, and similarly we can also say its resistivity is low. Similarly, if we take wood, then for wood we can say that wood has conductivity low, and its resistivity is high. So if we write down in mathematical form this conductivity, right, it is denoted by the sigma. Resistivity, it is denoted by the rho. So sigma, it is exactly reciprocal of the resistivity, and substituting on its basic formula, right, sigma is N E square tau upon M. So this is the formula for conductivity. What is the SI unit of the conductivity? SI unit is mho, mho. It is exactly opposite to that of the conductivity is unit will be mho per meter. It's exactly opposite to that of the ohms. So that is about the conductivity. Here the unit of resistivity we have not discussed. What will be the unit of resistivity? So SI unit of resistivity, if you find out, it will be ohm, right? Ohm meter. Similarly, conductivity, if you find out, it will be reverse of this. Reverse of this in the sense 1 upon ohm meter. You can write down 1 upon ohm meter. or it can be called as mho. 1 upon ohm can be called as mho. So mho per meter also it can be written this way. After conductivity, we have one more term that is called as conductance. These are the basic terms which are related to the material. If you take any specific material, the material will have its own drift velocity, material will have its own resistivity, it will have its own conductivity. Based on resistivity, you calculate resistance of a material, right? Resistance depends upon length, area of cross section. So greater length of the material, more resistance. Smaller material, lesser resistance. Similarly, material also has a conductivity, right? If the material is large enough, material is metal, then it has a good conductivity. If it is not a metal, it has a bad conductivity. So let us see about the conductance. So conductance, it is defined as reciprocal of resistance. Right, conductance it is denoted by the G. So formula of the G will be exactly opposite. It is exactly reciprocal of the resistance. If we write down its formula, resistance has a formula ml upon ne squared tau. So the formula here will be ane squared tau upon ml. This is the formula for the conductance. Its SI unit is resistance is ohm. For conductance it will be mho. Right. Then next we have relationship between one more term we define, that is current density. Current density. Current density, it is for a conductor, right? It is denoted by the J. Current density it is defined as current per unit area of cross section, right? If we find out its formula, current is NEVD, that is the current density J. One more small relation which is mostly asked in exam we have is, that is relation between J, sigma and E. One relation, we have a small relation, right? So if we write down this equation, J, current density, that is current per unit area, right? Substituting the value of current NEAVD upon area of cross section, right? Now we have to introduce NEA, right? Drift velocity is EET by M. AA can get cancelled, right? Now we already have a E. What is the formula for the sigma? If we see here, that is NE square tau by M into E. So J is equals to sigma E. That is one more relation, or you can also say sigma, its reciprocal is rho. So J is equals to E by rho. This is used in numerical and asked in boards for 1 or 2 mark questions.